I've got something amazing to show you. Myself, Code, CWG and others have been very busy at work building a crazy thing. It's big, it's scary, it's useful, and I can't wait to show you. But before we get into it, I remembered that we haven't actually given the prize to the person who won the Crazy Contraption Challenge. I don't actually know who won, so we'll find out together now. Ooh, various things. Rob, oh, that's 1 point to me. CWG, twice. Which means that CWG is 100% the winner of the Crazy Contraption Challenge. A bit gutted that it wasn't me, but he's the rightful winner and therefore he shall receive his prize. Congratulations CWG, this is very much deserved. And if you guys missed his contraption the first time round, this is what it looks like. You fire there. You get the cool music, which is awesome. The cow is going round and slowly powering up this dropper. Oh, there we go. It's done. That's changed. Oh, cool. I missed it. Okay. Oh, cool. Huh. I have to say, I love his contraption and I'm very glad that he won. Now, normally when I record Olympuscraft episodes, I try to record them in a chronological sequence, so then it's easier for me to edit and it's easier for you to also follow along. But in this particular instant, it didn't really work out that way. We already built this big thing, so this is a narration after the facts. And that's because it's quite complicated and it took us a lot of trial and error. But here it is. It's an enormous auto miner. There you go, you can see it in its full glory. We can even fly all the way across. It's an incredible machine, which took a lot of building, but it's looking really cool and I am so happy with how it's come out. So before I start this off, let me explain to you how we got to this point. Our adventure starts here in my base. Having finished the exterior in the last episode, I realised I wanted to start working on the roof. The plan for the roof is to have a copper roof, which goes all the way across. It's going to have various depths, various blocks, but it's all going to be copper, essentially. Now, because this area is about 110 by 110, that would amount to about 12,000 blocks of copper. Now, I'm hoping to use some slabs rather than full blocks, so we can cut that down. But realistically, I need around 7,000 blocks to fill this entire area. But realistically, I need 7,000 to 8,000 copper blocks. And that is a lot of copper. Because the thing about copper is that it's not like, you know, I don't know, stone. Stone you just mine, you get 1 block of stone every time you mine a block of stone and you're sorted. But copper blocks you can't really find in the wild. The only way you can get them is by grabbing 9 copper ingots, like we got here, placing them in that formation, and you get 1 copper block. So although we only need 8,000 copper blocks, we need 9 times that in ingots. So how can you get copper in Minecraft? Well, there's a traditional way, which is collecting copper ore and using that copper ore to get raw copper and raw copper into copper ingots, and that does kind of work. I tried it out a bit, I went a bit spelunking and I got around 2-3 stacks of copper ore, which then kind of translated into 1.5-2 stacks of copper blocks. However, that took me about 2 hours. So it's not the most efficient way, especially when I need 6 shulker box full of copper blocks. Now the alternative is you can make a zombie spawner farm, and I've actually made a video about that. Now even the best copper farm only produces about 1,200 copper ingots per hour, which roughly comes down to maths, like a stack and a half, 2 stacks at most of copper blocks. However, this problem I had presented a great opportunity to try out an auto miner. Now originally I thought that maybe what I could do is design my own auto miner, but then I started looking into it and I realized there is no way that I can design something that complex. I'm not too bad at redstone, but I'm not that good at redstone. So instead I settled for using a design by Il Mango. Now there's a lot going on here and I'm not going to explain exactly what's happening, nor will I be able to. There's a lot that I don't understand exactly how it works. But essentially a few days ago I got together with Code, CWG, Ant was helping us as well, Blue Gamer Dog was helping us a bit, and we decided to clear out a big area and just build this entire machine. So let me jump back in time and show you how that went.
Who's mining with fortune?
Me. Dude, fortune mining's the new meta.
Oh, is it? Is that what they say?
Yeah. You want all those stupid ore types in your inventory? Gross.
Maybe.
And what are you going to use your deep slate for if it's not cobble deep slate?
That is...
Do I have you convinced yet?
Someone's mad at you. Yeah.
Maybe he's not a fortune miner like me. Think beyond the blocks.
I mean, I guess.
Thank you for your words of wisdom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I appreciate your enthusiasm,
beyond the
however.
blocks.
Oh, 10,000.
10,000 blocks of stone.
I had that one a long time
Oh
ago.
man, don't even get me started on that. Let me see.
Dude, I got the golden cobblestone.
336,000 stone.
This is true though. I've never built a flying machine to this scale before.
No.
So
But that's kind of why I'm doing it. Like, I really wanted to try and build something this big. I've never done it before.
Yeah.
By the way, when we build this, I want to make it absolutely clear that the TNT goes in last.
Yes. I am in full agreement with that statement.
Because you have a choice. You don't have to put it in last. But we're going to put it in last.
No, knowing us, we're gonna, I don't
Yeah.
want to accidentally touch something and then end up blowing the machine to bits.
Dang, we already pushed this whole thing back already. Look at that.
Mhm.
We're done.
Yeah, basically.
Now I just have to collect all this stuff before it despawns.
So at that point in the recording, I had to head off to do some other stuff, and CWG and Code basically constructed the entire thing by themselves, which was incredible. I don't know how many hours it took them. It must have taken 3 or 4 because it's so big. Luckily, they had replay mod on, so CWG has very kindly offered me his replay mod of the entire construction process, which we're going to show in the form of a time lapse. It was very kind of them to build it in the first place and to give me these files, so please go and check out their channels. It really will help them out if you go and look. Alright, and that's how we got here. Kind of. There was a lot of problems. The machine is quite temperamental. You can see there's a lot of TNT. The first few days we had some issues with loading in chunks. Whenever we loaded in a chunk, all the TNT would explode and therefore break the whole machine. We've since sorted that out. We've actually managed to fix that. And then yesterday, Blue Gamer Dog came along to check it out and exploded a creeper next to it. And it took me hours and hours to try and sort it out. And we've finally managed to get it back into a state where it works. So let me just show you what this machine actually does. When I press this button, it's going to dispense some TNT, or technically it's going to dupe some TNT, and that TNT is then going to be chucked all the way against that wall, basically exposing whatever is behind it. So let me just do that. I press the button, TNT goes there, it's going to be flung up and across. There we go. So now it's exposed a bit more of the wall behind. I can go across here looking for any copper that is there. Yeah, so there you go. Here's some copper here. So then I go in and mine that out, and some more here as well. And once we've gone through and made sure that we've got all the copper that was exposed, we press the button again, and some more TNT gets dispensed, and we expose a load more, and then we go back and try to find even more copper. It is an awesome machine and it works really, really well. It's a nightmare because I am so scared of blowing this up again, and I make sure that every time I see a creeper I stay well away. So you may be asking, how much copper do we get from this machine? So I've been running the machine for about an hour. This is what we get. We get about six stacks of copper ore and about 1.5 stacks of raw copper, which is quite a lot actually, you know, compared to all of the other methods, which will give us, you know, 2-3 copper ore stacks at most. This is basically double. After a load of smelting, we've actually ended up with nearly 4 stacks of copper blocks, which is good. It's not too bad. I'm still going to need 6 shulker boxes, so I did some maths, and that's going to take me 42 hours, which is a lot of time. But, you know, 2-3 weeks maybe. Maybe a bit more, and I should be able to get all of the materials. So now we've got a source to get the copper blocks. I think it's time to work on the workflow that will take us from the copper ore to the copper blocks, because smelting copper takes a lot of time, and I've started having a lot of backlog of copper that just I can't seem to shift quickly enough. So I thought the next thing I should do today is to build a super smelter and a kelp farm. So luckily we have a lot of ocean around us here, and I think this will be the perfect spot to build a big kelp farm. So I'm going to start off by just building some walls around where we want the farm to be. I've constructed the main structure where the kelp is going to go. So at the bottom of this we're just going to have a load of kelp all the way across. So we're going to have a flying machine that goes backwards and forwards and destroys the kelp. Here we're going to have a recovery system that's going to collect the items and take them to our furnaces, which I think I'm going to do on a platform over here. And now we have water flowing in the right direction. So I've added in these water streams here that will collect the items, bring them all the way across here into this system here where the items are going to be shot up and eventually end up in these chests. I've added the flying machine, as you can see here. It's now going backwards and forwards. Oh, it's going to get a nice shot now. Look at this. Woohoo! It basically goes backwards and forwards. Although I've put it on a timer, it's just a hopper clock with quite a lot of stuff in it. So it takes a long time before the machine sets off again. In theory, the kelp farm is finished. And in fact, I have a confession. I've also built the smelting part as well. Up here obviously we get our kelp coming in, and the kelp gets moved through all of these hoppers down this hopper line all the way to the chest here. Now here we've got a little minecart unloading system. So once we have enough kelp, it will load up and it will go off and fill all of these furnaces with kelp. And down here we've also got one for fuel. So if you fill it with fuel, it will go off and fill all the furnaces with fuel. So this part here behind this chest is a slightly complicated system that I designed, and I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I couldn't really think of it, which basically lets the full chest fill up before the minecart goes off. If I didn't have this system in place, the kelp will come in as a trickle, which means that these furnaces will not be working efficiently. You'd essentially be using one dried kelp block to smelt 2 or 3 dried kelp, and that would not be efficient. I would run out of fuel very quickly. So this system here just means that the furnaces will only be active when there's a load of kelp to be smelted. And this thing is super efficient. This is the rate at which the blocks are coming in. Now I'm afraid to say this is unfortunately the end of this episode. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be away for 3-4 weeks. Now there is more stuff coming. I've got an Afterlife episode coming this Wednesday, which is absolutely insane, and I really urge you to watch it because it's so much fun. And I'm hoping to maybe post another video too throughout my absence. And don't worry, I will be back very soon with a new Olympuscraft episode. I'll see you all when I return. Until then, bye!